Nsudo. Nsudo is still alive from Akwa Ibom, still in Uyo. 18th Battalion was not told to enter Ore and Ukitipopa. They were told to head to Lagos.
Who told them to head to Lagos?
I think the Israelis knew what was happening.
The Israelis?
Yes. They knew what was happening.
They were thinking for Biafra?
They were involved on our side. We were there hiding it.
So it was not Victor Banjo's decision to head.
It was his decision to halt. Emeka was fond of singing that like a song. To halt at Ore. He told us, that one I cannot hide from you.
That?
He told us that when he managed to get Victor Banjo on phone, a radio phone, what are you doing at Ore, Victor? He said he was organizing troops. Say, Victor, you are of Nai. Nigerian Army engineers, you are not a combatant soldier. I'm a combatant soldier. You want to reorganize troops that have not fought a battle. It was a straight journey.
They were supposed to head to Lagos?
Yes!
To capture the Danbara?
Yes! That was the instruction. He decided to stop at Ore. And when Emeka said they managed to get him on phone, he said, what are you doing at Ore? Say he's reorganizing troops. Said, no.
Gone many years ago. But still, there are things that need to be settled and things that we need to know about that war. What is the cause of the war? And we cannot talk about Nigerian Biafran war without talking about the main two actors of that war. That we talk about Major General Ojukwu, the one that people called the People's General, who was the head of the Biafran government. He is the one who declared Biafran Republic by the mandate given to him by the Eastern Region Parliament. After the consultation with the Nigerian government fell, Ojukwu had no option when he demanded for greater autonomy after their reconciliation meeting in Aburi, Ghana, and the other subsequent reconciliation attempt, which they also went in Ethiopia to know if there will be peace, how they will settle the problem that was facing in Nigeria in those days. After a massacre of the Igbo resident in the northern side of Nigeria and the other subsequent killings that have been going on in the country, especially the brutal treatment meditating on the Igbos who are living in the north and the other part of the country, and the weight tears that happened in the western region. This prompted Ojukwu, after their reconciliation attempt was failed in Ghana, they first agreed, but on return home, the head of Nigerian government have a change of opinion because he did not actually know exactly what happened in that meeting, what he signed. Because I believe, to my own understanding, that at the tender age of that man, General Yakubu Gowon, and the tender age of General Odumegwu Ojukwu, they were about 30-something in those days when the war broke out, that many of them were naive. But when the war itself go deeper and deeper and deeper, Ojukwu begin to gain more knowledge because he have a lot of people like Shinu Achebe and the other strong Igbo elite who educate him. But on the side of the Nigerian authorities, the British have so much influence that make them to support them fully, because Biafra did not only fight against Nigerian government. Biafra is fighting against both the Arab world, both the other countries in the world. But let this also be known to you. There's also countries who wanted to recognize Biafra, but the mandate or the deadline given to them were not met. That is why they could not be able to stand, because the blockade that was given by the government of Yakubu Gowon against the government of Biafra by blocking every avenue, every means by which Biafran government are getting ammunition and food supply was cut off by the then Gowon-led regime who fought war against the Republic of Biafra, who was just young and tender, who are trying to build up themselves. But in this video, we are going to listen to an eyewitness account, the man who was a special assistant to Odumegwu Ojukwu, who narrated the story of the war, how the war started, those countries that recognize Nigeria, namely like countries like Tanzania, country like Gabon, and Zambia. These three countries play a crucial role, and do not also forget that the Israeli government were also in support of the Biafran government. But the tension and the pressure is too much on the Biafra that make Odumegwu Ojukwu to abandon the cause of the war, because the divisions that hold forth the battle for Biafra is collapsing when the joint forces of the Nigerian army and the other foreign counterparts who were joined hands together to fight the Biafran were bombarding, because there's no more ammunition that is coming for the Biafra. But when we listen to this man, we will understand how the war started and the life, how Ojukwu lived the country on exile for good 12 years. How did he survive in that exile? What is he really doing? Did he keep quiet? Did he really abandon the cause which he is championing, the sovereign Republic of Biafra? Did he abandon it? We are going to hear from the eyewitness account on his mouth by the interview he granted to Edmond Obiro of Studio Affairs Studio Ibadan, where he narrated what happened during the war and the exile and his return to the country, what transpired, and who really brought back Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu back to Nigeria. Is it the Shagari-led government? Is it Nnamdi Azikiwe? Is it Abofemi Awolowo? Is it other actors then who were in Nigerian politics? But we will hear from him as he gives us the full account of what happened during the war, after the war, and Ojukwu exile in Ivory Coast, how he managed to cope and live his life. And we are going to use it to look at this current cessation or the current demand by these current people, the youth of today, asking for that the same Biafra that devastated the entire eastern region, that makes the eastern region to be where they are today. And let us also not forget that after the war, millions of Igbos lost their money. The Nigerian-led government gave them only 20 pounds. If you have 1 million pounds in your account, it did not consign the Gowon-led government. They only refund you 20 pounds, and that is what an average Igbo man used to stand up his life after the devastated war, which the Nigerian-led government declared the 3 hours, which were never implemented at all. You will also hear the version of Chukwuemeka Ojukwu concerning the 3 hours, which General Yakubu Gowon introduced, no victor, no vanquish. Is it really working? Why is it that that side of the eastern region are still being sidelined by the federal government? Why is it that there have never been heavy presence of the federal government in the eastern region? Why is TB agitation for Biafra? Why that name is still in existence? You are going to hear all these things. All you need to know is to pay attention and listen to this man as he's interviewed by Edmond Obiro. I give this credit to him who organized this interview. And this video, I dedicate it to Mr. Edmond Obiro of Studio Affairs Studio Ibadan. He organized this interview very well. So pay attention. Let us all listen to this interview he granted to this man who is the eyewitness of that event that happened during, after, and the exile of Chief Odumegwu Ojukwu. Thank you.
Motivation to write this book came from outside. Because when Emeka came back to Nigeria, they had anticipated that Emeka would give them a book He gave us a book, no doubt, but it wasn't the book. So the pressure was mounted on me to tell us how he survived 12 years in murky exile. 12 years. January 11, 1970 to June 1982. It wasn't easy. How did he live? What was he doing? What jobs did he create, if any? And I decided, Ed, that gap needed to be filled. And that's what exactly this book represents.
At what point did you meet Ojukwu during the war?
We met intimately at Omaya. Then we relocated to where we call Madonna 1. And we joined again Yamoussoukro.
Can I call you one of the personal assistants of Ojukwu?
Yes, I am. I have an appointment letter that shows that I'm a senior aide, in bracket media.
Can you remember that day in 1970 when Ojukwu left the country?
Yes, I can.
What was it like?
Rowdy. A little rowdy. Rowdy in the sense that we did not expect the collapse of 12-Div. Don't forget, Aid, that things were beginning to look up for Biafra. The arms were beginning to come in. So the collapse of 12-Div was sudden and unexpected. So when the news came that 12-Div area had totally collapsed, cutting off S Brigade that was around Azumini, so there was problem.
So at this point, there was no hope for Biafra.
We had been decimated. Those who were the 3rd Marine Commando heading to Owerri, some were heading to Ojukwu, around today's Imo Airport. Some were heading to Aba, and Maduebe couldn't really put it together. He was the chief of army staff. So Emeka was advised to leave, and he left from Ogwa.
Who advised him to leave?
Salui.
Mbanefo?
And Co. Yes. Philip.
Did he resist?
No, I don't think he resisted. I wasn't too old or matured to know what was happening inside that hall, but I know he agreed to leave.
Philip was among those that convinced him to leave?
Yes. And Philip was to take the mantle of leadership and did the formal.
So immediately Ojukwu left. That was the end of the war?
More or less, yes. There was no more resistance. War is about resistance. There was no more resistance. Pamphlet, so there was no more resistance.
So he left knowing that Philip Effiong was going to hand the instrument of surrender to Nigeria.
That was obvious. That was obvious because the resistance had been broken. There was no more coordinated resistance. And despite Colonel Joa Chuzie's attempts, there was no way. So he had to go into exile.
Some said he ran away.
No, he didn't run away. Emeka didn't run away. To run away means there's an obvious danger, yes. But it was organized. He had to leave. He had to leave.
How did he leave? From which airport?
Some said Uli. Some said Oga. But I think he used Oga. I think so.
Why didn't he leave through Uli Airport?
Uli Airport was under bombardment by Egyptian piloted Russian MiGs. Remember that we are not fighting Nigeria alone. That's what people don't know. We're fighting almost the entirety of Arab world. Emeka likes to call them Pan-Arabizim.
You know, if you read the Ahiyara declaration,
yes,
he said the Biafran struggle
yes
was against Pan-Arabism.
It's Pan-Arabism. He knew. And Uli was under serious bombardment. So why should we, when we have other airports, we had one at Okigwe side, where the Red Cross staff who came to share relief to our people were killed by Gowon's airstrikes.
Mr. Ishinulo, you said weapons were already coming in.
Yes.
Before Second Div collapsed.
Yes.
What were the weapons coming from?
I wouldn't know. I'm so below to know, but there was serious improvement in our armament supply.
I am thinking that you should know by now.
Yes, in exile he mentioned Argentina, for instance.
Argentina.
But that's what I can tell you one-on-one.
Because going through your book,
yes,
I've been waiting to meet you.
Yes.
I've been trying to put a face to the author. Because I saw all the intelligent activities that went on in exile.
Yes.
I saw all the secret mission you embarked on.
Yes.
In exile.
Yes.
And you did not tell us a full story here.
Yes.
You decided to omit many things out.
Yes.
Why?
I convinced myself before I started putting pen to paper that there were certain things that I would not say. They will go down with me 6 feet. And that was why there is a chapter called Some Things Cannot Be Said, chapter 2. Some things cannot be said. They will go down with me 6 feet below.
Would that be fair to the generation that is coming?
It will be. I'm trying to protect the confidence reposed in me. There were attempts on his life.
By who?
By certain elements.
Because even though he was in exile,
yes,
he had an office.
He had an office
that organized his life.
Yes.
He has that huge intelligence network.
Yes, working for him.
Working for him.
In his favor.
Who was after him? Who wanted him dead?
Somebody wanted to kill him.
Who?
That's what I said will go down with me is 6 feet below. But there was an attempt on his life.
From Nigeria?
Not from Nigeria.
From Britain?
Not from Britain. But it could have been instigated by any of these. But the person who pulled the trigger, I missed him.
They even put the trigger?
Oh, yes. You can trust them. I can Saturday morning.
So he became more security conscious?
Oh, yes. Before Boya had to reinforce defense.
Okay. The war was already lost.
Yes.
He left Nigeria, he left Biafra.
Yes.
In 1970.
Yes.
To Cote d'Ivoire.
Yes.
He became a guest to the president of Cote d'Ivoire.
He was a special guest, yes.
And he went to the president's lodge in Yamoussoukro.
His country home.
Why
is a villa.
Why did Hufwe Boigny love Ojukwu so much?
I think that question could be put differently. When he calls him Monfils, my son, called him Monfils. He called him Mon General, my general. I think the love was clearly traceable to Sir Philip Ojukwu, who had some minor little businesses in Ivory Coast at that time.
Philip Ojukwu,
Philip,
Ojukwu's
his father,
daddy.
yes. So the love between son and father was so pronounced and deep that you begin to ask, is he not just an exile? There are many exiles here. But that affinity, that closeness was profound and visible.
So I'm wondering, why didn't Ojukwu go to Tanzania, Zambia?
Why didn't he go to Switzerland that even offered him? Why didn't he go to Switzerland?
So what informed the decision to go to Ivory Coast?
What aid just provoked about Hufo Boanye regarding the giving special attention and love to the young man. He was only 30-something.
At that age, was there youthful exuberance in Ojukwu?
No, he had matured over time. He had matured with the war. He had matured by the circumstance that enthroned him to that position. But when you have people like Salu Mbanefu, when you have people like Professor Kenneth Dike, Chinua Achebe surrounding you, you can't afford to be immature. If you take an immature decision, they will correct you. He was surrounded by our big names.
Igbo intelligentsia.
Oh, Igbo intelligentsia aid. You can say that 10 times. He was surrounded.
And he listened.
Oh, yes. Otherwise, the war couldn't have lasted for... These people would say the war will last for 3 months or 3 weeks. Lasted for 3 years. And don't forget that 18th Battalion, led by Nsudo. Nsudo is still alive from Akwa Ibom, still in Uyo. 18th Battalion was not told to enter Ore and Ukitipopa. They were told to head to Lagos.
Who told them to head to Lagos?
I think the Israelis knew what was happening.
The Israelis?
Yes. They knew what was happening.
They were thinking for Biafra?
They were involved on our side. We were there hiding it.
So it was not Victor Banjo's decision to head.
It was his decision to halt. Emeka was fond of singing that like a song. To halt at Ore. He told us, that one I cannot hide from you.
That?
He told us that when he managed to get Victor Banjo on phone, a radio phone, what are you doing at Ore, Victor? He said he was organizing troops. Say, Victor, you are of Nai. Nigerian Army engineers, you are not a combatant soldier. I'm a combatant soldier. You want to reorganize troops that have not fought a battle. It was a straight journey.
They were supposed to head to Lagos?
Yes.
To capture the Danbara?
Yes. That was the instruction. He decided to stop at Ore. And when Emeka said he managed to get him on phone, he said, what are you doing at Ore? Say he's reorganizing troops. Said, no, Victor. Reorganizing troops that have not fought a battle? I'm combatant. You are an engineer. If we need bridges to be pulled up or pulled down, we call you.
So why did he send an engineer to lead that battle?
Because of his belief that we needed the Yoruba to understand that their own son was leading he didn't call it battle, he called it an expeditionary force.
To capture Lagos?
That was it.
So, at some point, Victor Banjo returned to Biafra.
Yes.
So what was his offense?
He was arrested.
Why? Why was he arrested?
He disobeyed army command, military command. In the army, they don't condone, they don't accommodate, they don't tolerate dissent. And the man who arrested him was the usual man, the man who does that kind of job well. Colonel Joe Achuzia. Achuzia arrested him.
Arrested Ifajuna too?
Yes, he arrested all of them.
Did the Biafran leadership see that as subversion?
Of course. Of course.
And that was the
The
penalty?
war could have ended September.
Why are you sure?
It could have ended September if Banjo did not do what he did.
So the intention was to take over Lagos, not to keep
The
Biafra.
war could have ended because the northern federal permanent secretaries were already beginning to evacuate to Kaduna and Kano.
So if you took over Lagos, what would have happened to Biafra?
I think the Emeka's strategy then was to give Midwest to Midwesterners, give the West to Westerners. That will also, because don't forget that the crux of the anger in the East, the crux of the anger in the Eastern political leadership, the crux of the anger in Biafra was against the North. So at that point.
But he did not consult Awolowo in that regard.
I think he tried to establish contact with him.
But do not forget, at that time,
Northern
Northern troops were occupying Yoruba land.
Yes.
I hope you remember.
Yes.
Don't you think Victor Banjo was saying, no, this strategy is wrong. Ojukwu might want to capture my people and enslave them.
I don't think so. I tried as much as possible, like you saw in the book, to avoid this kind of discussion because it's purely military. I talked about exile. I was more interested in exile. That's what the book represents.
I know the book is about exile.
Yes.
But I have the opportunity to discuss with Ojukwu's personal assistant that have written a book with a chapter, so many things are left unsaid. I will try to extract as much as I can. But let's come back to the exile. Ojukwu landed in Côte d'Ivoire. How was he able to adjust? How was he able to survive for the first 3 months?
The government of Felix, Dr. Felix Houphouët-Boigny, did everything humanly possible for Emeka to settle down, reorganize his life, and face realities, the reality of the Biafran collapse and the hostility of the Nigerian government at the time. So he adjusted quite frankly, I must tell you, very fast. And Houphouët-Boigny played a critical role. I remember he told us, we didn't accompany him, he told us that Houphouët called him one day into the office, 5 months into his exile, and told him that, what would you want to do? What type of business are you looking at? Are you going back to school? Are you? Emeka said, I'm from a family of transporters. Ojukwu transport. You can't talk of Nigerian economy without talking about Ojukwu transport. So I would like to start with transportation. He gave him money to buy tipper. He started with tippers, yes.
He gave him money?
Yes.
But I thought Ojukwu's father was a billionaire. Was Ojukwu broke?
He wasn't broke, but he had no access to the money at that particular time. Houphouët gave him money, told us. Houphouët gave him money, with which he started with moving sand from the riverside to construction sites. this type of tipper that carries sand, go to the site, the driver will press something and it will offload by itself and it goes back. That's how we started, with 12 trucks.
He became a businessman.
By 2 years, the 12 trucks had multiplied I can tell you, to 100. And the man, the Wufo boy, was shocked.
He was such a good businessman.
Oh, yes. If you gave me 12 vehicles to start a transportation business, and in less than 2 years, you can count, you don't even need to ask me. The staff there, the drivers, everybody, they were all Ivorians, 100 and something, and counting.
How was he able to do it?
Because he had the presence of mind, the experience from his father's company, and government support. Because most of the constructions were government, it was supplying sand to sites.
A typical Igbo man.
A typical 24/7 Igbo man, walking like mad.
So
then,
he was not relaxing in exile.
And Emeka was fond of employing the best, like his father. When you have somebody like Colonel Pierre Baranger, a retired French army officer with a lot of administrative experience and exposure, what do you expect? Baranger was in charge of security, administration, and the businesses.
His family went with him on exile?
Yes, his wife was there, Njide. Njide was there.
Yeah, I saw the picture in your book.
Yes, Njide was there. The mother was there. But the mother was not living with us in Yamoussoukro. The mother was in Bouaké, which is their second city.
Why was it so?
She chose where she would do her business. She's into restauranting, food.
What about the children? How did he cope with his children?
Oh, he did so well. Frederick Forsyth played a critical role. They were school in Ireland. Emeka was in Ireland. Okibo was in Ireland. Mimi was in Ireland. He sent them to that place. He didn't want the patronage of this fatherly, make sure that they were brought up under very strict discipline, Catholic discipline.
And he was able to take good care of them.
Oh, yes. Every holidays, he's physically at the airport to work.